The accusations now swirling around Donald Trump has his supporters and detractors really drawing a line here. Meanwhile, the embattled GOP nominee is vehemently defending himself and publicly attacking those accusers. Watch.
It's a phony deal. I have no idea who these women are. I have no idea. When you looked at that horrible woman last night, you said, I don't think so. Believe me. She would not be my first choice, that I can tell. Now suddenly, after many, many years, phony accusers come out less than a month before one of the most important elections in the history of our country. One came out recently where I was sitting alone in some club. I really don't sit alone that much.
All right, joining me now, CNN political commentator and Trump supporter Scotty Nell Hughes, and A. Scott Bolden, Clinton supporter and former chairman of the Washington, D.C. Democratic Party.
Good morning.
Scotty, good morning.
Good morning.
Scotty, I want to start with you. What you heard there, do you support what Donald Trump said about these accusers?
Well, I think we have some issues we live in the United States, Victor. We are innocent until proven guilty. And I find it funny that these women can sit here and make these accusations and have no real evidence, no proof besides maybe a friend that they talked to or a family member. Yet Mr. Trump is having to prove that he did not do it, which is exactly opposite of how we act towards these sorts of things within our country. And when you look at each one of these women, and let's take Summer Zervo, since we just ran the package of it. Yeah. Not only do you have her cousin coming out and saying something, but you actually have an email that the Trump campaign put out from Summer to Mr. Trump April 14th of this year, talking about the restaurant, inviting him and his supporters to the restaurant, saying, you know what, they can walk in, they can talk about it.
We read that response.
You read the email, so you have to question, why does she now all of a sudden hate him when last spring she was like, please come to my restaurant, bring your supporters, and we can share all of our great stories about how much we love Mr. Trump.
Let me put this to you, because just a couple of days ago, when Donald Trump brought the four accusers, well, three accusers and one person who was involved in the lawsuit that Hillary Clinton was involved in, there were questions about why they were there. And you defended Donald Trump's bringing them to the debate and saying these women have to be heard. I want you to listen to yourself a couple of days ago about those women. Watch.
And the reason why those women were present last night, it was not about Bill Clinton, but more importantly, how Hillary Clinton treated those women. All Donald Trump was doing was taking her advice. She said that those women, any woman that's ever been under sexual abuse or sexual harassment or any form of abuse, need to be heard. Their stories need to be told. They need to be listened to. He gave those women that chance.
It's important how Hillary Clinton treated those women. Their stories need to be told. They need to be listened to. He gave them a chance. Is the same standard, are you holding Donald Trump to the same standard?
Absolutely. A nice try there using my words against me, because those women
They're
were
not against you. I'm asking, is it consistent?
But those women were also represented by Gloria Allred. So I'll give Gloria a lot of credit right now. At least she represents all the women and that have been used in the political case. But, you know, the difference between those women is a lot of them actually had evidence and have been proven, have gone through a court of law, had settlements. Their stories just weren't being told in the public eye. These women now all of a sudden are coming out. Here we are 20-something odd days before the election. And that's the question, the timing of it. But each one of these stories, I mean, let's look at last night. You had Anthony Gilberthorpe come out. He was the man that was brought out to be the person sitting across from Jessica Leeds. And guess what? He came out and said, that's crazy. That's not true. That's not what had happened. She was the one on top of him.
Scotty, let me get this guy.
The facts in this story.
Let me get this guy. Let me get this guy. I want you. Let me play you something that Donald Trump Jr. said in 2013, specifically about sexual harassment in the workplace, and I want to get your response to that and what you heard from Scotty.
If you can't handle some of the basic stuff that's become a problem in the workforce today, like, you don't belong in the workforce. Yeah. Like, you should go, maybe teach kindergarten.
If you can't handle sexual harassment, go and teach kindergarten. What we're hearing from Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. here in relation to sexual harassment and these women specifically, Scott.
It runs in the family. That's what I get from that. The whole family simply does not get it. Listen, I'm a former managing partner of a law firm. That type of conduct, even those statements, would not be tolerated. But let me just say this about what Scotty said, because you can't have it both ways. On one hand, Donald Trump wants to defend the women who accuse Bill Clinton, who's not running for president. On the other hand, the women that have accused Donald Trump of groping them, they are not to be believed. You can't have it both ways. Now, Let me say this as a former sex crimes prosecutor from New York, all righty? We look for three things when we have people who claim that they've been sexually assaulted, right? Do their lies have no details? Each of these women have details. Did they tell people contemporaneous with the bad act? Every one of them certainly did. And did they have a motive to lie? They're not looking for fame and fortune. Donald Trump drove this narrative and drove them out. They simply wanted to be credible and wanted to attack him on his credibility when he denied ever groping anyone. Character in a presidential race and in a president is super important. And then even in his defense, listen to this, Victor, even in his defense, he objectifies the very women who accuse him of groping them. He says, hey, it's about, you know, I would not, they wouldn't be my first choice. Hillary Clinton walked in front of me and I wasn't impressed. He's still objectifying them, quite frankly. And we know, hold on, we know that sexual assault is about power. It is not about looks or body or attractiveness. And in the mind of a super narcissist, he gropes because he feels he is entitled to it, not because of sexual attraction, but of power. Donald Trump has a serious problem in the campaign, but he's got a serious personal problem.
Scott and Scotty, stay with us. We're going to come back with the two of you after the break, and we'll talk about Hillary Clinton in just a moment. Christy?
Because as the focus remains on the accusations against Donald Trump,